Welcome into the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. We are coming at you live from the Michigan International Speedway. I am Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Brian Britt and Austin Derbyshire is behind the production booth. As always, Brian, I absolutely love this racetrack. Michigan International, fast 2-mile, heavily banked surface. Going to be a lot of high speeds out there today. Probably some high speed crashing. As we get an aerial view of the racetrack, what do you think about Michigan International Speedway?
Yeah, this is definitely a fun track. I mean, of course, Auto Club now has been essentially off the schedule, but this is the sister track, Michigan International Speedway.
So sad.
They are different somewhat still, though. This is a little bit of a smoother track, I do believe, and it is very fast. Draft is going to be incredibly important around this 2-mile place. You can almost effectively flat out around this track. Top groove works, bottom groove works, and everything in between. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, early run especially, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of people hover around the bottom side of the racetrack, saving tire. But as the run moves on, the tires wear out. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of guys using a lot of different lanes to find speed around this place, and we're going to see a ton of comers and goers as the tire wear starts to ramp up. But Brian, what are your keys to tonight's race for Michigan?
Well, first key is going to be don't slide the tires. I think that's going to be kind of the biggest deal. I mean, this is a very, very fast track, and of course, it's a momentum-based track. If you slide the tires, you're going to lose that momentum, but also if you slide the tires, you're going to cause excess wear, and it's going to be really hard to get the temp out of those tires. Now, of course, the second one, I do believe, manage your fuel. The fuel window, from what I've projected, is about 35 laps. This is a 70-lap race. That's going to be very, very close. It could be very razor-thin margins on your fuel, depending on how you save. Of course, the third key is going to be don't lose the draft. That is going to play into that second one about managing your fuel. If you're out of the draft, you're going to be burning more gas, as well as you're not going to be as fast. So this is going to be a lot of different variables kind of all in one.
A lot of strategies playing into tonight's race, like you said, with the managed fuel. That scares me a little bit with it being right on 35, because it kind of makes a strategy for you. Get to lap 35 and then pit right then if that's all you can go. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Maybe we'll get an early caution to kind of throw that for a loop. But we're going to move into our broadcast picks real quick before we get qualifying finished up. And up first myself, I'm going with James Loveland. I think he should have won at Nashville earlier this year. I feel like the driving styles of both racetracks, Nashville and Michigan, are relatively similar. Obviously, Michigan a whole mile more in length, but I feel like, you know, there's some similarity in how you get into the corner. Loveland was fast at Nashville, so I'm picking the 0-2 to win tonight.
I'm going to go with James Harris. I mean, I feel like James Harris, last week he had, I'd say, you know, a bad week at, Daytona, I think it was, and he's looking for some redemption here tonight. So let's see what he can do.
Oh man, Brian and his daggum James Harris picks. I mean, you're almost perfect with those, so I don't blame you. And Austin Derbyshire going with Carter Casey. I think that's a good pick for tonight. I think Casey's going to be pretty quick, pretty rapid. Looked fast in qualifying. So I think we got some pretty competitive picks there, and that's a little bit more spread out than our picks normally are here for champions. So we're expecting a little bit of a more hectic race, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be about survival. That's for sure. You're going to have to survive this, place. We're going to see 3-wide action a lot of the night, I do believe. I mean, I think there's even more potential for 3-wide here at this track than there is at Daytona.
I would have to agree with you. We were in a 2x2 gridlock the entire Daytona race. So, I don't know. It's just. It's iffy to me. But either way, we're gonna jump right into the starting lineup. Kalen Mitchell, look at that, up on pole with that 5:12. What a rapid lap time from Kalen Mitchell. I think he put it in really, really late. Toby Ritter's lining up in the second place spot. Keegan Sabilo in third. James Harris lining up on his outside in fourth place. John Ledger starting in the fifth place spot with a shout out in the chat. Thank you to the kind commentator up there as well. Andrew Hale lining up in the sixth place spot on his outside. Josh Horn in seventh with Harley Barletta in eighth. Stephen Witt lines up in ninth with James Loveland on his outside in 10th.
Carter Casey starts in 11th place. Tyler Meeks is going to be starting in 12th. 13th, Kenneth Gorell. 14th, Ryan Jalick. 15th, John Lucido. 16th, Nick Jaboski. 17th, Jason Taylor. 18th, William Mann Jr. 19th place is going to be Brian High. And rounding out this 20-car field is Dan Hillowig in the 63. So 20 cars out here at Michigan. This is going to be an interesting one. Of course, I do want to kind of, if we can quickly go over the points just a little bit, I do want to talk about that we do have a new points leader. Keegan Sabilo has taken the points lead. He has about a 6-point lead now over James Harris. And there was, a lot of, I'd say, frustrations last week with that race at Daytona. And I think a lot of these guys are trying to right the ship. And I think that's when James Harris is going to be trying to do that.
I don't know if Michigan would be the place that I would want to go right after Daytona, to be honest with you. And I know, like you said, there's a lot of room for 3 wide. Heck, you can get 4 wide if you really want to. The problem is it all narrows up off these corners. Coming out of turn 2, I'm telling you, it gets really, really tight coming up against that outside wall. You just run out of space out of nowhere. And it just gets really tight if you're 2, 3 wide coming out of that corner. Turns 3 and 4 can be difficult. I feel like it's more the center of the corner rather than the exit. But down the front straightaway, we see a lot of issues. People making moves and making mistakes. So honestly, I feel like we're going to have some trouble spots. We're going to have some accidents. And I think we're going to have some hurt feelings just like we did at Daytona. And we did not have any shortage of hurt feelings at Daytona a week ago.
Yeah, no, 100%. And, some of those guys, the frustrations could carry over. And this is a very unpredictable track. There is a lot of, I'd say, leeway or kind of gray area when it comes to the moves you can make. I mean, you can really send it into the corner and throw slide jobs and get loose off the corner. I mean, there could be so much that goes wrong here at Michigan. It's going to be fun, though, I'll tell you that. I mean, this place is a ton of fun to race at, but it also can be very frustrating. There is a lot of potential for crashes, especially if you overdrive your truck.
And you just gotta, especially on iRacing, whenever you go into a race like this, you're trying to determine if you're going to see a lot of crashes. I mean, you've really just got to look at the racetrack and determine what kind of racing it puts on the iRacing service. And Michigan, for a lot of its tenure, especially in the trucks, now we do have a new truck model, so it could be a little different, starts out as a pack race. On the new tires, everybody's really close up next to each other, just like you're at Daytona, Talladega. And then whenever the tires start wearing, you're fighting for everything you can to hang on to that outside groove to keep the momentum down the straightaway. And everybody just kind of funnels into that outside groove, and we get some beating and banging. And that's where those caution flags fly, or they start flying. And I think we're going to see plenty of that tonight. But the iRacing pace car is pulling off out of turn number 4 at the Michigan International Speedway, and we are getting ready to go green. Kayla Mitchell in that DeWalt Chevy Silverado leads us down, and we are under the green flag in the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series.
Yeah, very good start there for Kalen Mitchell. Had the help of his teammate Keegan Sabilo. Oliver's rear end already an early move here for James Harris. He moves to the middle groove underneath the 23 of Toby Ritters. I do want to mention Harris is on a satellite wheel here tonight, running on a Logitech. If you run on a Fanatec, as they are side by side right now for that third place position. Keegan Sabilo shoots to the bottom, but here comes Toby Ritters trying to challenge for the lead here on the bottom.
Yeah, and Ritters is going to take it. He's been really, really quick on short runs all season long in the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series, and this does not surprise me one bit to see him use the draft down the back straightaway on lap number 1 on the 67 to make the move to the inside. Now, does Kalen make the move back on him? He's looking to the outside, coming down into turn number 1 as they fan out a little bit further back.
I like what Kalen Mitchell's doing. He moves to that high side. That's going to be where the runs are going to be generated at. Now, of course, what is that going to save tire? I think the bottom side's probably going to be the place to save tire here at this racetrack. We'll have to wait and see. Ritters is able to hold on to the lead down the back stretch. As you see, I do believe further back, Dan Hillewig trying to pull to maybe make something happen. We see Carter Casey also pulling out of line. So some guys are trying to go double file, but we do see mostly single file in the top 10.
Kalen pushing a little bit more out of turn number 4. I was talking about, they're just about 3 wide back here. But I was talking about Ritters pushing a little heavy in the short runs. Through 3 and 4, he looked to be the guy that was saving a little bit more tire. Kalen Mitchell looked to be the guy that was pushing the nose up off the corner at turn number 4, while Ritters let that number 23 hug the bottom and not really push the throttle pedal too heavy. It has allowed the 67 to get to his outside coming out of turn number 2 for the race lead, though. So maybe Ritters is going on more of a tire-saving game now. Maybe he just wanted that lap lead, and now he's thinking about the longevity of those tires on the 23.
That could be the case. And also you got, the 67's kind of has a little bit of help there from James Harris. We cannot, stress it enough how important it is to have draft help. As here, looks like the 67 almost got a little bit, I think, maybe a little bit of a push-loose condition coming off of turn 4. And James Harris is going to kind of take advantage of that. He runs on underneath and now goes side by side with the 23.
I thought Ritters was saving, but he drove it down into turn number 3 like a man possessed, took that race lead back after he was in a side-by-side battle for second coming into the corner. So what a corner from Ritters to take it all back. Now Kalen Mitchell back to the 3rd place spot, and they've got a huge gap over the rest of the field.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys kind of fighting back here. A couple of them probably saving tires, not trying to push too hard. I think we're seeing a little bit of different strategy come into play. Like you said, the fuel mileage is an issue, so maybe you're just trying not to push it too hard. You know you've got to get 35 laps out of these tires, so you don't want to push them too hard too early to go in.
No, I'm right there with you. And one thing I'm seeing, though, Keegan Sabilo, he's, of course, the lead of this, like, kind of gap in a way. And that's not a surprise for me. I think that Keegan is always kind of in fuel or tire-saving mode. He's running the bottom. He's not really trying to run the top. I think that he's saving his tires. As we see a big wiggle off the corner there from Andrew Hale, as Carter Casey, our, of course, producer's pick, has now entered up into 7th.
James Harris going through to the race lead on Toby Ritters. He got it down the back straightaway. And now they're side by side once again in turns 3 and 4. Ritters looking back to the inside. James Harris did not have a good 3 and 4. Pushed just a little tight. He had to catch the nose, get out of the throttle just a little bit. That's going to let the 23 lead the lap as they're still side by side coming down to turn 1.
There's some really clean racing here tonight. I mean, very impressive to see these guys able to kind of keep this going. I do want to mention fall off. We've seen about a 0.3 of a second fall off so far, and I think that's going to continue to grow. Some guys are actually hitting faster laps right now because we always talk about this on iRacing. You know, the first 5 laps of a run are so important when it comes to the longevity of the tires. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here at Michigan.
And, I was talking to a couple of guys before the race, and they were giving me some pointers or keying me in on some things that they were doing out on the racetrack that kind of surprised me because I've never really seen it at Michigan. All these guys, a lot of them towards the back of the field, and even Toby Ritters up in the race lead, have been running the bottom of turn 3 and 4. I have not seen a lot of people in my day in iRacing run the bottom of 3 and 4 or the bottom at all at Michigan. Typically, you want to run a lane off in both corners. But for whatever reason, with this new truck, that bottom groove seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, and of course, we've always known that the bottom groove is really good for saving tire if you're able to kind of back it down enough. But yeah, you can see a lot of guys are kind of running that bottom groove. And that is surprising that, you don't see guys more kind of running that middle groove, considering that kind of straightens it out. As we see definitely a gaggle of race cars back here. Carter Casey just kind of in the hornet's nest on the edge of the top 10.
Yeah, Lucido got a bit of a hip check coming out of the final corner. Oh, contact going out into turn number 1 towards the back of the field. Somebody sliding up towards the outside wall, saves it, coming back down across the racetrack. What a save. I can't quite tell who it was. It might have been Jazabowski or Jalek. I think it was Jalek, Ryan Jalek, from turns 1 and 2. James Harris going through to the race lead on the bottom into turn 3. So much happening on the racetrack at one time. It's so hard to keep track of. But James Harris puts the move on Toby Ritters. He's back to the race lead. Ritters trying to get it back. Don't think he has the run coming out of 4. But again, what a save from Ryan Jalek. I hope we can get a replay of that.
Yeah, definitely. He falls back all the way to the 19th position. We'll see if we can't get a replay of that. One thing I'm noticing, though, how clean air seems to be impacting James Harris's truck. It seems like he gets the lead, and he's not able to really keep it. Now, I'm wondering, because you can look at that. You can kind of see that it causes the truck to over-rotate. And that's one thing that maybe clean air might not be as beneficial as you would think, or maybe it could possibly be burning up his rears a little bit more than the fronts. But I think we do have a replay. Oof. There it is. Look at him. He is all sorts of squirrely.
Yeah, James Harris. I'm questioning it. It's weird. It almost seems like he's overdriving the corner a little bit. I feel like that loose condition he's getting coming out of the corner is a push loose. I think he's a little tight through the center, and he's just not really getting out of the throttle in just quite enough time, and he's just pushing it on exit, which is going to burn that right rear tire. It's going to kick that right rear out a little bit. Looked pretty good through 1 and 2 there in the side-by-side battle with Ritters for the race lead, but especially in 3 and 4, I've seen him just overdrive the entry of the corner a little bit, getting down to the center, and I think it's hurting his exit a lot, and that's why he's been given the lead back right after he gets it.
Yeah, and of course that clean air that just is dumped on the nose when it gets that lead definitely doesn't help as well. It changes the handling quite a bit. I mean, a lot of people might not realize that, but I mean, these trucks are they're not the most aerodynamic vehicles. Having to try to cut through this Michigan air. As you can see, the rest of the pack has started to kind of catch up to Ritters and Harris as they are still duking it out for this lead. You see that Kalen Mitchell has started to catch up. John Ledger has definitely done a fantastic job up in 4th. But look at here, Carter Casey banging on the back door at the top 5 here, trying to get by Harley Barletta.
Yeah, and he's going to do it. He's gotten past Barletta up into the 5th place spot. So Casey coming through from 11th up to 5th. Good start so far for Carter Casey. Let's see if he can continue that momentum. Somebody that's been going backwards, Keegan Sabilo, he's starting in 3rd. He's back to 7th, and we know him as the guy that's going to tire save. He's going to drag back and lose some positions and then fly through at the end, but you don't want to get too far back. Luckily for him so far, only a second half off the race leader. I think that's decent enough to where he's kept himself in a pretty good spot, especially since Ritters and Harris are still going at it for the race lead. I mean, they are getting side by side over and over and over again, swapping this lead back and forth.
And I think we're getting to that point in the race where that top group is starting to really. You kind of mentioned it that it's going to be.
Contact for the race lead. Harris able to save it, but he's going to lose a ton of time.
And I think this is exactly what I was just talking about. You know, you're getting to be to that point where I don't think the bottom is going to work as well as the top wheel. It's going to be hard to keep the momentum going. As here comes Kalen Mitchell on the top, James Harris is going to kind of be locked on this bottom. And look at Casey. I think Casey has been doing something different than everybody else. I mean, I don't know exactly what that is, but I think it's got to be very smooth. Because he's got better tires than everybody right now, Casey does.
James Harris cut across the nose of Casey coming out of turn 2. Not much room between the two. Casey trying to drive it in deep enough into turn 3 so he can just take the spot, see if he can wash out coming out of turn number 4. That right rear still covered. Harris has it. He's going to be able to draft all the way down the front straightaway. Kalen Mitchell giving it to James Harris. Now ducking down, letting Casey have it, but Harris has the side draft on the 8 coming down the front straightaway, and they're going to be nose to nose going down into turn number 1, fighting for that 3rd place spot.
Yeah, you could definitely tell these guys are battling. They know how important these positions are. There goes Kalen Mitchell, of course, our pole sitter, trying to get back to the lead. I think he's going to be able to do it side by side. Harris able to get clear of Carter Casey, but Casey clearly, I think he has got the better tires.
Kalen pushed on the exit of 4. Can Ritters get the run back on the bottom? Not going to be able to do it. Still hanging out down there, but nothing doing for the 23. Now the 55's got a huge push from Casey. Harris trying to figure out where to go with it. He goes to the bottom, trying to take 2nd back.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would kind of, even though he got a big, oh, he's going to get turned.
Harris gets turned by Casey. Casey's going around as well. Can he save it? Harris hard into the outside fence. Everybody else is okay, but the 55, the back end is destroyed.
Fortunately, he does have a fast repair. That is unfortunate. We'll have to look at this because I feel like Casey definitely should not. He should have took the run somewhere else. I don't know. Did Harris come up to block? That's kind of a hard, one to call right there. But that's unfortunate.
There's no intent in it. Honestly, just from that one angle, Casey he just got a little too close. He saw Harris was a little slower in front of him. He's trying to judge the run perfect to where he can get a good run coming off the corner. And he just misjudged it a little bit. At the end of the day, that's all it is. There's nothing intentional here. He just thought the 55 would have a little bit more speed. Maybe he just misjudged how much speed he would have. But at the end of the day, it is the 8's mistake. There's no intent behind it. But that was definitely on Casey. And it's tough for Harris. He's got to use his fast repair only 15 laps in.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I mean, you can see, Harris was slower. He was trying to take that run underneath. Ritters had to back out of it, and unfortunately, Casey just did not give him the leeway to be able to back, and that's just unfortunate, to say the least. And I'm guaranteeing you Harris is going to be upset about that one for sure.
Oh, yeah. He should be. And going down to the corner, I'm kind of watching it back. His run kind of gets compromised in the way that he's fighting for the position because he goes down to the inside of Ritters. And that causes him to check up more than he would normally check up in the middle of the corner because he's running an abnormal line. Carter doesn't necessarily take that into account going down into turn number 1. And unfortunately, that's kind of why the 55 ends up going around. It's obviously on the 8, but there's a reason behind it where they were fighting in front of him in case he just misjudged Harris coming back up the racetrack.
Yeah, and I could even say, about Harris. I think, he did have a huge run, and he was. Oh, somebody turned on pit road. The 44, I do believe, the 44 has gone around. Stephen Witt.
What is going on?
He has still not gotten into his box. His pit road has become very chaotic.
I don't know what to say about this.
That's unfortunate.
What
I was saying, I don't.
I've got a problem with iRacing right now. All right, I've been in the box a whole lot straighter than that and not gotten serviced before. I'm irritated with that one.
I would like to, but just kind of going back to what we were talking about with Harris. I feel like if he had chose to take maybe to stay in line and not try to take that run. I guess sometimes you get greedy. But going back, let's see if we're going to take a look.
I think he has to take the run. I don't think James did anything
On the bottom,
wrong.
though?
Yeah, I mean that's where he got put, right? I mean, Ritter's blocked the top, and now maybe he could have been more deliberate with the move to the top. Maybe he could have gotten there beforehand, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like he did anything wrong. He made the move, it didn't stick, and Casey misjudged how slow he was going to be after the move not sticking.
I think we're seeing this accident here.
All it's really
exactly what happened.
Oh, he gets right rear, doesn't he?
Is that Jazabowski comes up and turns him? I think that's who that is.
Is it? No, that's not Jazabowski. That's not Jazabowski.
Okay, so that wasn't him. Who was that? The 11, okay, of Ryan Jalick.
It wasn't the 11. Look, we're gonna figure this out.
Trying to figure out who it was. Figured it out. It was John Horn in the 28.
There we go. Great investigative journalism there, buddy.
Yeah, I bet the 44 of Stephen Witt's probably not too happy with him, just considering they're going to be lined up very close to one another, too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's tough. It's very, very rare you see pit road wrecks on iRacing because you can go into the pit lane and, not get hit.
This is going to be kind of
it's a funny one.
Interesting, though, because these guys just pitting, of course, they can make it on one stop now for sure.
Yep.
And this opens up a lot of strategy plays. It was kind of like if you could make it on one stop, you would do the one stop. Now this opens it up to where you could shorter or long pit,
Yeah. And Harris being back further in the pack, can he get back through here from 15th? That's going to be tough. After wrecking out like that, it's going to be tough for him to pick his way through the pack. He's got a little bit of strategy, like you said.
His truck was good in dirty air.
Sure. He was fast. It's going to be tough to get through all those guys. I think he can do it, though. But we'll have to wait and see. The pace car's pulling off of the racetrack out of turn number 4. Kayla Mitchell leading us back down to the restart zone for the second time tonight. And we are racing once again. And Mitchell gets a huge jump on Ritters, who does not get going on the outside groove.
I don't know if I want to jump here at this track. I think I would want to kind of...
That's a good point.
This is a draft track. The Ritter's definitely very fast here. He's been really good on the whole entire run. Been very impressed with him. As you can see, Keegan Sabila putting a lot of pressure on the 23. Carter Casey, of course, by himself there on the bottom.
Oh, the run is huge. Ritters is going to dive to the inside. Coming down to turn number 3, can Tubby Ritters get it done? It's been his move, diving down to the inside of turn number 3. He's done it time and time again to take the race lead. Can he do it again? Sliding up out of turn number 4. Kayla Mitchell keeps the nose on his right rear, and he's going to side draft him all the way down the front straightaway. Staying far enough apart right now to not do it. And actually never picking up the side draft. I'm surprised. Kayla not getting super aggressive. But they're still going to go down to turn number 1 side by side. Nothing between them. Ritter's just trying to use the new tires on the bottom side of the racetrack to slide up in front of the driver of the 67. He's going to do it.
Yeah, but you can see that, Kalen right there with the crossover. This is one of those tracks that is famous for that crossover. Also, this is a track, it's famous for pushing someone into the corner faster than they want to go. That could be something we see, maybe a tool being utilized here sometime tonight. You see that side-by-side battle still underway for the lead. Keegan Sabilo kind of pulling back a little bit, now battling side-by-side with Casey as they fight for the lead.
It's looking like Daytona back there from third on back, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, all the way back. Everybody just kind of stuck in line. And, I mean, it's kind of how it is for the race lead, too, but there's just a gap between them and the third-place guy. But now third and fourth, single file, kind of thinking that they might catch up to your 2 race leaders now that they're still side by side, the 67 and the 23. I mean, they're just going at it, just about contact there between Andrew Hale and the 19 of John Ledger.
Yeah, they are 3 wide, 4 abreast, deep in the pack here, as they are racing hard in the mid-pack. You see Tyler Meeks in the middle of that Hornet's nest as they still battle for the lead.
Yeah, Tubby Ritter's diving down to the inside of 1. He really compromised his line, getting down into the corner, though. He might lose some exit speed off of that. Kayla Mitchell's going to have the draft coming down the back straightaway. He's got a little bit of help from the 8. Mitchell diving down to the bottom. Looking to the inside of the 23, a little bit of a side suck, coming down the back straightaway, diving down into the corner, and Kayla Mitchell is going to drive away into the race lead.
Gotta be completely honest. I think these guys are compromising their tires to do all this. I just feel like, if I was in the shoes of a Carter Casey, I'd just be like hanging out watching. Like, I wouldn't even be trying to challenge these two guys. I'd just be like, go ahead, y'all keep racing. I'm just gonna hang out, conserve my tires, not slide them, and be able to drive right by both of you when you've already scorched them.
You are 100% right. Them fighting like this absolutely hurts them more than what any of these guys back here are doing. Now, the difference is this run's not going to be as long as what they expected run 1 to be, right? They were expecting to go 35 laps. Here, we restarted about lap 20. The max you're going is 25 laps. So you can push them a little bit harder than maybe you did on that first run.
Yeah, no, you can. You definitely can. But, I mean, you could also still push them a little too hard. I mean, like I talked about, slide the tires. You don't want to do that. As, of course, we still seeing a battle, I do believe, 4th, Keegan Sabilo, Harley Barletta, side by side, as well as you see Andrew Hale. Andrew Hale actually 3rd in the points right now. He still does have a way to claw up to get up to Keegan and, James. But all it takes is, I think, Keegan and James to have a bad race. That Andrew Hale might have a chance to sneak his way into the championship hunt.
Goodness gracious, these guys are just racing hard all over the place. Meeks is following in his tire tracks. I don't know how he's getting through the dirty air like that, basically using the draft through the corner. Kayla Mitchell goes back to the race lead. Now they're side by side for 2nd. Ritter's on the outside. Casey trying to go through on the inside. Casey continuing his march up towards the front of the field. Oh, man, loose condition going down to the turn number 1 further back. Somebody just about entered on the apron. I definitely thought we were about to see half the field go up in smoke down to turn number 1. Luckily, they saved it, and Casey gets to the inside of Mitchell for the race lead. Not able to do anything with it. Kind of squeezes Ritter's there for 2nd, and Ritter's is going to look to his inside going down to 3.
Yeah, this could go badly. It seems like, you see Ritter's kind of getting a little bit impatient on the back end of the 67 there, but it does look like Carter Casey is going to possibly lead this lap. Whoa, that was close. Kalen Mitchell almost was able to take that lead away, but Casey, I believe, leads his first lap here tonight, as he is, of course, still under constant pressure from the 67. You see just all kinds of race trucks all over this racetrack. That's one thing I love about Michigan. It's just like a shotgun blast of trucks all over the place in these corners. I'm just saying, it's clean air. Everybody's going for clean air in these corners, so it's like no one's running the exact same line.
I've just never heard somebody say shotgun blast of trucks. That was funny. That was funny, man. I liked it. Man, they're 3 wide still. It's a good analogy. This is what it kind of looks like. It looks like a shotgun shell coming out, a bunch of pellets flying everywhere, and that's the trucks just all over the place going down the front straightaway at Michigan, and then fanning out down into turn 1. Like you said, everybody hunting for that clean air.
Yeah. You want the dirty air, the draft in the straightaways, because that's, of course, what's going to give you that big head of steam. But when you're going through the corner, you need as much handling as you can. So, that's one thing about Michigan. You're just really always trying to hunt for that little bit of clean air on that nose. As you can see, Carter Casey in control. Casey seems like he's got very good... Oh, big moment there for Harley Barletta. Barletta gets loose. Now 3 wide with Keegan Sabilo in the middle.
Yeah, and he's just going to keep dropping. You get loose at a track like this with these long straightaways, you're losing 4, 5, 6, 7 positions whenever they're all bunched up like this, and Barletta is going backwards fast. Now in a tight battle with Gurrell coming through 1 and 2. And now just about 3 wide. James Harris on the outside, John Lucido on the inside, just about putting Barletta all the way to the back of the main pack. 1 loose condition, 1 moment for Barletta, and it puts him all the way back to the back of the pack.
Yeah, for sure. He's got to definitely be hating that, and he slid those tires too, so that's going to be a big deal. It's going to probably be hard to keep the speed. He's going to have to hope he stays with the draft. And you talk about the end of this pack. We got quite a few drivers that have lost the draft completely, and that's going to be a big deal for those guys. We see Andrew Hale just ripping the top here at Michigan. I love that line. I feel like that's going to be a really fast line when it comes to generating runs on these straightaways. And look at that. Look at the amount of speed he's carrying down this straightaway.
Caleb Mitchell looking to the inside of Carter Casey down to the 3 for the race lead. They've been swapping this thing back and forth like crazy. The amount of drag on this truck must be huge, because the draft they get down the back straightaway is just monumental every time. The race leader almost stands no chance there. Casey didn't even have a lick of a chance coming down to 3. He didn't only lose the lead, but he lost 2-3 car lengths on Mitchell coming out of the corner.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm would not be surprised we're going to have a ton, maybe even a record amount of lead changes here tonight. I mean, it just is so many lead changes. I think every single lap there seems to be someone else that is leading this race. But Kalen Mitchell, he's got something figured out here. He keeps doing a little bit of some draft dodging, kind of feeding draft to different lines. That's something you see at other Super Speedway style tracks like Daytona. And, it can be adapted for a track like this. You want to keep those guys behind you side by side. And that's exactly what Mitchell's trying to do. He's trying to keep Hale and Casey side by side. But here comes Hale. Hale has got a big head of steam. He seems like he's done a really good job of conservation of those tires.
There's just almost nothing you can do as the race leader. You just got to pick a line, let them go by, and then get right back by them. I mean, I think we're going to see it here again. I think Andrew Hale is going to be able to fly around the outside of Kalen Mitchell. Mitchell's going to try to side draft him, get onto that left rear quarter panel, down the back straightaway. Pauses the momentum from the four, drags him back a little bit. And now Kalen's going to have the momentum going down into turn number 3. That was textbook. That was absolutely textbook from Kalen there to hang on to the race lead.
Yeah, Kalen.
And it still might not be enough. Oh, my word.
Yeah, Kalen's been fantastic this season. I mean, of course, is in, looking really, really good when it comes to points and just getting good finish after good finish. You can tell he's very much improved as they are still duking it out for this lead. I do want to mention Jason Taylor up in the top 5. They're battling hard right now. Here comes a big move from James Harris. Thinks about taking it underneath 4 wide as we are. This is getting exciting here for 5th on back.
Yeah, I think Harris, just a couple laps ago, he was way back at the back of this thing with Harley Barletta. But, the last couple laps, Harris has started to move through the field. I'm thinking he might have saved his tires a good bit through the first couple laps and decided it was go time.
Yeah, would not be surprised. Of course, James Loveland, I do believe that was your pick. He is sitting in 6th place as well. I know he's had some races this season that have kind of got away from him and probably looking to see if he can maybe get something going here tonight. Big loose condition from Jason Taylor. Almost took out James Harris. Somehow was able to save that. I got to give Jason Taylor a lot of credit for not ending the 55's race just now.
I'm surprised we haven't had more moments, to be honest. I was talking about the pre-race. Oh, just about one right there. A little bit of a hip check. Ledger, Gurrell getting into it. But, man, they're racing hard, but they're not wrecking. I'm surprised.
I think tire fall off is hitting at probably a most high point right now. I mean, we're seeing a second of fall off, which is really big at a track like Michigan. And I think it's going to continue to fall off as well. I mean, we're not even
really up to a second?
Yeah, we have a long way to go, too, in this run. I mean, if these guys are going to try to split this in half, we're going to probably see another 10 laps of racing before we probably see green flag stops.
I think that's a safe bet. Whenever you see it, that much tire wear, right, a second of fall off in 15 laps of racing, you really have to think about splitting this thing exactly halfway. There's not a lot of crazy strategy you can do with it. You want to wait. You want to be the guy on the newest stuff, but you don't want to wait too long. So it'll be a little bit of a game of cat and mouse in terms of the strategy game coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, this is where I think the people that are really good at saving tire, this is going to be where they shine at. As we see James Harris, of course, attacking Toby Ritters for that 6th place position. Toby, I thought he was kind of doing better on the long runs in that early portion of the race, but it looks like he is starting to struggle a little bit. But John Lucido, he's made his way up into the top 10 as well. Definitely
a lot of comers and goers through the field so far, but as the racing action, it's kind of heating up towards the race lead. Andrew Hale's looking to the outside of Kalen Mitchell, but man, we've seen it time and time again. I mean, it's almost like a broken record at this point. These guys do not want to stay up in the race lead for long. That is for sure. The draft coming into play. These two tight, coming off of turn number 2, fighting for it. And Casey is going to go with Hale on the outside, demote Kalen down to 3rd. And we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break of the racing action. Whenever we come back, we've got green flag pit stops and a heck of a finish. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. We're racing at the Michigan International Speedway, and it has been absolutely fantastic so far. These guys are still swapping the lead back and forth. Andrew Hale, Kalen Mitchell throwing daggers at each other. Nothing sticking, still side by side for the race lead. And now Kalen Mitchell, he's got a teammate. I thought he was going to be behind him helping him. Oh, he lets him in line. Keegan Sabilo helping out the 67, trying to go for round 2 at Andrew Hale.
Yeah, and Kalen's been running predominantly the bottom side, which, it seems like he's very loose down there. It doesn't seem like the car is wanting to do what he wants it to do, but, I mean, he's still maintaining speed. Your pick, James Loveland, has entered the top 5. He's in 4th right now. James Harris is up in 5th right now. What a recovery from him. Carter Casey, he is really struggling right now. Look at the lap times from Casey, 41.3 last time. I think some of these guys are starting to feel the effects of these tires. I think green flag stops are going to be happening very, very soon.
Very safe bet. Very, very safe bet. Splitting it halfway would be, I think, lap 44. I think would have been splitting it halfway at the green flag. So we're going to be seeing people coming down pit road any lap now. I really do believe it. The guys that are struggling really heavy will split it exactly halfway. A couple of guys fighting up towards the front, maybe trying to play a strategy game, I think are going to be playing some cat and mouse with each other on whether or not they're coming down pit road. It's really going to be about who comes down pit road last, and is the guy that comes down pit road last too far behind the guy that came down pit road first after the pit cycle. So we'll have to wait and see. Still a good chunk to pay attention to, and this is your race for the lead right here. We got, 7 trucks still in it, 8 trucks still in it with Lucido at the back of this pack.
Yeah, they're all very fast. I got to say, though, I like Hale the best. I think Hale seems like he's got the right idea. This is kind of the line I would run if I was running out here in Michigan. That top line. I mean, it's it's the ultimate defensive line. You're not having to move the wheel very much, and you're able to maintain the momentum. I mean, of course, Kalen keeps getting alongside of him, but he's not able to complete the pass, especially on these older tires. So I really like what I'm seeing from Hale.
And here's the deal with the green flag pit stops, right? We've seen pack racing this entire time, right? We have seen bunched up packs. We finally split apart into a couple groups, but it's still packs. We got a pack of 8 up here. After these green flag pit stops, it's going to be groups of 2 or 3 at max. And it's going to be a couple single file cars or single cars out there by themselves. And that is going to change the complexion of this race completely. Kalen Mitchell drove so hard at the beginning of this run, trying to hang on to the lead from Toby Ritters. I thought he would fall through the pack. He's hung on to second. And Ritters has stayed in the main pack, even with the tires that I thought were going to be hurt worse. So Kalen Mitchell going for the race lead right now. I feel like with the pit stops, if he times it right, gets the correct strategy, I think he might actually be better on the long run than Andrew Hale, because Hale did save this time, and he hasn't been able to hang on to the race lead as Kalen Mitchell drives by him on tires that you would think would be worse than the driver of the 4.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. No, Kalen has better tires than you would suspect. Here comes Hale to the bottom. One thing about iRacing now, the dynamic tire wear that we've been seeing here recently, if you run that top for long enough, it'll mess with your tires to where running the bottom will be a little bit more difficult. Does that affect Hale? It looks like maybe not. He is able to go to the bottom. It still is in his repertoire, it seems to be. But that is something to keep in mind as well, as we're now starting lap 47 here at Michigan International Speedway. This race has been very, very clean for Michigan. A lot cleaner than Daytona last week, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that tire wear discrepancy that you're talking about, the way that I kind of understand it, if you're running the bottom side predominantly, you're going to wear typically the right front tire a little bit more. If you run outside by the wall, you're going to wear the right rear a little bit more. So if you run the outside lap after lap after lap after lap,
teammate.
Kalen Mitchell finds a fence.
Yeah, teammate just put him in the fence.
Yeah, they're bump drafting down there, and it kind of went a little wrong. We saw that plenty last week at Daytona, but they're all good coming off of 4. I've completely lost my train of thought. That's kind of
you were talking about wearing the different tires.
Oh yeah. If you're on the outside groove and you're pushing hard, that right rear is going to wear heavy, and then you're going to go back down to the inside, and you're going to find it to be a little bit looser. Now, if you can handle it, you're going to rotate better and actually be able to drive the bottom side of the corner a little bit better. But if you've blown through it a little bit too hard, that right rear tire from driving too hard on the outside, then it's going to be just about impossible to hang on to it on the bottom groove. So it's kind of a game of chicken on whether you sit up there too long or whether you hit it just right and end up actually being able to turn better on the bottom side of the racetrack.
And I think in a lot of ways there's a balancing act to that. I think you really can use that as a tool. Run the bottom some laps, run the top some laps to kind of keep that tire balance. To keep it even. That way, you don't get too tight or too loose over the length of a run. So that could be an option as well. As you see, Hale is able to reclaim that lead. Keegan Sabilo, of course, sits in third still. Kalen Mitchell still fighting, though, for this lead. Running the bottom. He's been running the bottom for the most part. I mean, from what I've seen.
I can't believe the pit stops haven't started.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are staying out a lot longer than I thought they would be.
I knew it was going to be a game of chicken, but I didn't think we were going to be playing this big of a game.
And with the lap times, I mean, I think it might benefit someone to do a short pit, but then again, the draft might also. I mean, it's going to be a difficult decision. It's like you said, playing chicken.
But these few laps, I would be pitting immediately.
Yeah, but I think a lot of these guys also think that a caution can come out any time, and that's that chicken part of it. It's both. 50-50 kind of, flip of the coin. If a caution comes out and you're on pit road.
I think that's got to be a pit signal, right?
I would say. I mean, he definitely seems like he's using that sort of body language. Here he goes. Yeah, he's coming to pit road. Everyone else seems to be staying out. This could be the race-winning call. Could be the race-losing call here from Hale.
Typically, I'm a fan of you got to pit a lap after, 2 laps after. But look, there's only 20 laps left in the race. But at some point, you got to call it quits and be like, okay, we just got to get down pit road, take that advantage from shortcutting or from short pitting somebody. I feel like that's a good call from Hale to go ahead and do this. He'll be in completely clean air by himself, not have to worry about dirty air whatsoever on the new tires. He'll get the jump because he short pitted all these guys, and he was up front. I think this could be a race-winning move.
It could be, but then again, also, if all these guys start pitting together and they're running together in the draft, that actually could offset, the amount of time he gathers. So we'll see. Oh
boy! Did Mitchell speed?
I don't know. He definitely looked like he got a pretty wiggly trying to get that thing rolled down.
He'll be okay, but that was Sabilo slowed down a good chunk more than Mitchell wanted to, and I think Mitchell actually had the better entry. So I think Sabilo maybe just a little soft on the entry there, maybe giving up a little bit of time, which you really don't want to do. We'll have to wait to see how far back they come out from Hale whenever they do come out of pit road. A couple guys still staying out on the racetrack. James Loughlin, Toby Ritters, Carter Casey, still out there. They're your top 3 currently.
It'd be an interesting call at this kind of track. I think it would work with a 2-tire stop. I mean, that's what I was kind of thinking. It would loosen the truck up quite a bit. It could be an option.
5 second less pit stop, and like you said, you're going to loosen up a little bit. And there's only 18 laps to go right now. 19 laps to go.
That's not a lot.
Here comes Andrew Hale. Is he gonna get the move? How much of a gap is he gonna have on Sabilo, or can Sabilo keep this pretty close?
I don't know if they even have a sniff of his draft, they're gonna be all over him.
I'm shocked. I thought Sabilo had a conservative entry, and he pitted a lap later, so you would think that he would lose a second and a half on that based off of the tire wear, and somehow he's actually gained on Andrew Hale through the pit sequence. He's only 0.3 of a second back.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, maybe Hale was a little conservative getting to pit road. Could have been the case. I mean, he was also by himself. I mean, with Keegan having all those people around him pitting, it kind of could have pressured him to be a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Well, we could judge him off of other people, right? We could see, okay, well, Kalen made it, and he was way more aggressive. So we knew Sabilo was not aggressive. Now, Hale, there was nobody around him. So we have no idea. And to be fair, he shallowed up his entry into turn 3 to show these guys that he was going down there. He slowed up really early in the center of the corner. So I think you're dead on. I think Hale was even more conservative than Sabilo. And I thought Sabilo would be all right on Hale's bumper, but James Harris has come out of nowhere. He's looking to the inside of the 77.
Isn't this just impressive from the 55? I mean, to see him get wrecked on like lap 18 or something like that. And now a lot of people go, oh, his strategy or something, caution came out and got him back up here into the lead. No, he drove his way up here. He drove the whole way up through this field and didn't really fall. Contact between the two championship racers. And there they go. James Harris and Keegan Sabilo wrecking one another. And this is going to bring out a yellow flag.
Oh my. Did my scream come through? Because that caught me so off. I've never just jumped out of my seat like that before. Oh my word. Just out of nowhere.
And I don't know. I think I would put that on maybe Keegan. I don't know.
And James has already used his fast repair, so
James is out of the race. Well, he's still turning laps, but he's not going to be fast. I'll tell you that. Oh, well, he might be out. I think I'm looking at Kalen Mitchell, but looking at this, let's see exactly what happened here.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I mean, he's in line with Hale, right? And that's kind of what you got to go on is the car in front. If Hale, who's single file, is kind of in the same lane that Harris is in, and Harris is on the bottom, I feel like Harris is just kind of entitled to the lane that he chooses, whether it's the very bottom or the second lane. And I think Sabilo comes down as if he's expecting Harris to go all the way down to the bottom.
I think what we're seeing here is Sabilo's following the 4. Sabilo is trying to keep the draft of the 4. It's almost like, I think I've talked about this before, you go where your eyes are going, right? So, a lot of times wherever you're looking, if he's looking at the back of the 4 and he sees the 4 starts going down, and he just starts going down as well. And unfortunately, the 55's right there. And that is.
Look, Sabilo's definitely expecting Harris to either, take a different arc into the corner. Harris did drive it in pretty straight. All right. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. I'm friends with Keegan, so I want to throw that out there. But Harris does drive it in straighter than normal, but Keegan, I mean, he does just come down, right? Like Sabilo or Harris can't run him into the 4th groove, right? Like you can't make him run the wall whenever you're side by side.
Yeah.
But if you're on the bottom, you expect to be able to pick the first or second and a half kind of groove. And honestly, Keegan just didn't let him. I think it's a misjudgment by Keegan. I guarantee he didn't mean to do that. But
I can't. Yeah, no, I know he didn't mean to do that.
It's definitely his fault.
I know he didn't mean to do it, and it's really sad. I mean, just considering, how fantastic. Of course, like you said, you're Keegan's friend. I'm James's friend, and my heart breaks for James Harris in this situation because I mean, and I like Keegan too. I respect both of these drivers. I think they're both very talented, both clean drivers too. They don't come out here with intentions to wreck anyone. Yeah. Both of them. But it's heartbreaking for both of them in a lot of ways because you know what this does. I talked about this. How Andrew Hale has fought his way up to 3rd place in the championship points. Hale's in the lead right now.
Yeah. And Sabilo has to use a fast repair. Harris is out. So there's going to be a big shake-up. Yeah, big shake-up in the championship standings for sure. That's hurt. That sucks. We were having a really good race going, and like I said, there's no intent behind it. Man, shit. Stuff happens whenever you're racing. Stuff happens whenever you're broadcasting too, apparently. But it's racing. It sucks. And like I said, I'm gonna put the fault firmly on Sabilo. And it does look bad because he's leading the championship. Harris is his main rival, and he didn't have a fast repair left, so it looks really bad for Keegan. But I guarantee you, he didn't mean to do that. But it's tough. It didn't look good on the broadcast. You can tell how much it surprised me whenever it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I thought these guys were just going to race it out. I mean, we had a fantastic finish, I think, ahead of us. I mean, to see, these guys all pitting and somewhat of a different strategy, and I would have loved to see how that would have played out. I mean, I really would have loved to see that. But, they were on new tires. I think that has something to do with it as well, that they had gotten so used to driving on the old tires that maybe that also, you kind of get used to how those tires feel, and you jump into these new tires. And maybe you feel a little bit more, different. I don't know. It can throw off, I guess, the rhythm in a way. But here we go.
Well, the rhythm's definitely been thrown off. We're going to have 13 laps to go. Everybody's on new tires. So, well, it's going to be a heck of a ride to the finish. Andrew Hale is going to be the guy leading it on the outside. Caleb Mitchell on the inside. Two of the heavy hitters gone from this race. Keegan Sabilo all the way in the back, I should say. James Harris out of this thing. Coming down to the restart zone, Andrew Hale hits the gas pedal. What a start from the outside road with his teammate behind him. Jason Taylor through to second.
See, I love that decision from Hale. Like I said, that Hale has got that top side figured out, and for him to start up there, I think he just, sent his sign there. Jason Taylor, though, getting a little bit tight. Look at Kalen Mitchell shooting down on the bottom. John Lucido knocking on the back door of the top three. Look at Toby Ritter. Toby Ritter says, I'm going to the front because he's trying to get 3 wide on the bottom with Casey.
Get all you can get when you can get it, and that's on the restarts. 13 laps to go. Everybody's bunched up just about 4 wide through 3 and 4. We might have been for a moment. Ritters is just rapid on the on the short run, man. I don't know what he's got figured out in his mind on the short run, but he can just make that car faster or that truck faster than anybody else on the short runs, just about anywhere we go.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Oh, a hip check from Caleb Mitchell on Lucido.
Yeah, definitely seemed like there's no love lost. As these guys are going to be doing everything they can to get these positions, to get this win. We talk about, of course, very difficult to win a race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. And when you have 2 of the best drivers in the series kind of out of the race in some regards, that leaves a power vacuum.
Leaves the door open, that's for sure. I mean, look at the guys that are all of a sudden in the top 5. We've seen a couple of them up here already, but a couple guys that we don't typically see win races that are up here. Obviously, Andrew Hale and Caleb Mitchell have proven themselves to be fast, quick guys that win or can win a race week in, week out. Andrew Hale, previous champion. Caleb Mitchell, hot and upcomer on the scene, looking like he's going to win a lot of races. John Lucido, though, in third. I mean, he's having a fantastic night all of a sudden up in the top 3. Toby Ritters, he's been up here, but he hasn't won a race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. James Loveland, add him to that list. He's up into the top 5. So, I don't know. Everybody from 3rd to 5th, I'd be pretty happy with winning. Pretty big underdog story, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're getting ready to have another wreck.
Oh.
Just looking at these guys.
They're leaning on each other. Lucido and Mitchell, I mean, they've tagged doors time and time again over the last couple of laps. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll get a little bit more of it down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell Lucido. There it goes.
Man.
I'm surprised that didn't end with a wreck.
I thought Lucido was nose first into the
save.
inside wall. Holy cow, man. These guys are giving it everything they've got. Coming to 9 laps to go, and somehow Mitchell hip checked him out of turn 2. Almost sent Lucido to the inside wall, and somehow he's able to make a move to the inside for the race lead through 3 and 4. And they're drag racing down to the line. 9 laps to go.
Yeah, Lucido didn't even lose that much momentum. He's right on the back bumper of Mitchell.
Oh!
I think this is not going to be pretty. 3 wide, almost for the lead here.
Caleb Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell taking the lead. He makes it.
Incredible. And it's not over yet. They're just going to keep getting the runs. Andrew Hale, all these guys on new tires, they're just going to push for everything they've got. No reason to save. What can you do? Can you get up to the front? And give me a huge accident. Tyler Meeks gets turned hard into the outside wall. A second right rear into turn number 3 in about 10 laps. That is not what you want to see.
Yeah, that is unfortunate right there to see that accident. I saw these guys. They were racing really, really close to one another. They kind of even impacted before this. Right here, you see the
same
impact
thing
right here.
Initially, it was the same thing. The first door checking in the middle of the corner, in the middle of 3, felt like it was the exact same thing as Keegan Sabilo and James Harris, just that they were lined up more on each other's doors so they didn't wreck at first. You'll see Carter Casey on the outside of Tyler Meeks coming down into turn 3. They make door contact right here. Meeks drives in a little bit higher than the guy on the outside would expect. Casey's trying to fill in the second half, third lane, but it's door contact this time so they don't wreck. Meeks gets down to that bottom line finally, and then it almost looked like netcode contact might have hooked them together initially. We might have to get another angle. It was either that or Casey just came down too low and wrecked the 7.
That's what it looks like from my end. It looks like he just came down and maybe got into the 7 a little bit. I mean, but there could be some different perspectives to kind of see exactly. They definitely had contact right there. Of course,
right here,
they're touching.
Bam, door check, and then right here. It's weird. There's a little kink. There's a little kink in the middle of 3 and 4 at Michigan where the corner like the bottom line, it looks like it's a smooth wrap around the entire corner, but there's actually a little kink in the middle of that bottom groove. That strip, you can kind of see it in the surface. The first strip off of the yellow line, there is a little kink in it that you can't really notice unless you're driving. And I want to say that they got to that, and Casey is expecting it, and Tyler wasn't expecting it to be right there. Like, he wasn't preparing for that little kink. There might only be a select few people that can understand what I'm saying with that, but I promise you it makes sense in my head.
We're just going to have to trust you.
Trust me. That's from experience. But we got a little break in the action, and we have not given any shout-outs to our presenting sponsor tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Champion Power Equipment, because this broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Big thank you to Champion Power Equipment for powering our broadcast week in and week out. And while we're talking about our fantastic sponsors, we're going to go ahead and give a little bit of a shout out to Green Mountain Grills as well. Introducing Green Mountain Grill, where innovation meets flavor and your grilling experience reaches new heights. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouth-watering results. Why should you choose Green Mountain Grill? Well, we have smart control technology, versatile cooking options, quality craftsmanship, wood-fired flavor, and we are easy to use and easy to clean. Ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience? Choose Green Mountain Grill, where every meal is an adventure and every bite is a masterpiece. Upgrade your grilling game today. Visit us at www.greenmountaingrills.com. Big thank you to both of the presenting sponsors of the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. Without them, we would not be able to put on this show week in, week out. So big thank you to Champion Power Equipment and Green Mountain Grills.
Oh, yeah, definitely glad that those two are on board. And this is a long time running series. And looking forward to seeing how this season's going to complete. I mean, could we see a new champion, or could we see a repeat champion with Andrew Hale now kind of looking like he said, I'm going to take the baton. As here we go. Pace car lights are out. Kalen Mitchell going to be starting up on this top side. Andrew Hale on the bottom. Anyone, I think, in this top 5 or top 10 could possibly get this victory with how intense this racing's been getting.
Ooh, and it's just going to ramp up in intensity. There's a couple of different strategies through the field. A couple of people decided to come down pit road under that caution. They have 10-lap green flag lap, I should say, fresher tires than
I like that.
The rest of the field. John Ledger, Jason Taylor, Nick Jazabowski, and William Mann.
I like that call.
I do too. I'm a fan of it. We'll have to wait and see. 5 laps to go. Whenever we take the green, Kayla Mitchell, he's your leader on the outside line. The outside line gets a good jump, but not as big as we've been seeing. Toby Ritters did not get going in 4th. Mitchell's still going to clear for the race lead, but it's not that huge of a lead. I think Lucido might be able to push Hale up to him.
Yeah, it looks like that's the case. Ritter switches lanes, moves down to the bottom side as here comes Hale trying to attack on the top. Is he going to be able to get his nose up? Ooh. He forces his way. I mean, I'll tell you, Hale,
Man,
he's like, if there ain't a line, I'm going to make a line.
it was close. Tandeman down the back straightaway at Michigan. Coming down into turn 3. Ritters goes for the lead down on the bottom. We're 3 wide. Now 3 wide for second. What can Ritters do down on the bottom side of the racetrack? Lucido's got the draft with Hale on the top, though.
And that should be where the difference maker is. I mean, the 73 is pushing the 4. There goes Kalen. He gets in line. He's going to be trying to see what he can do here. As Ritters, of course, Ritters has been the best on the short run. Can he take advantage? Can he find a way to get his first victory? As you can see, a lot of wiggling going on as we're coming to 3 laps to go.
Do you think we're done wrecking?
I don't know. I really don't know. But look at the big
Kayla Mitchell. What a dive from 3rd place. Kayla Mitchell going for the race lead. The right rear's covered from Andrew Hale, and he's got a pusher on the outside, so it's all going to be for naught for the 67. But it was an impressive move, maybe signs of something to come. And a couple of heavy hitters coming back through the field. Sabilo's coming through, and a couple of those new tires are starting to push their way through the field as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised those newer tires haven't already been making headway, but it definitely seems like that's starting to happen. I mean, Sabilo is running about a few tenths of. Oh, big problem! There goes Jason Taylor into the outside wall.
Oh, couple people going down to the inside. Everybody's keeping it straight. Taylor takes a little bit of an excursion through the grass, doing some lawn mowing, but we're racing side by side for the race lead. Coming to 2 laps to go. Andrew Hale on the outside. Kalen Mitchell on the inside. And Lucido's pushing Hale through with Loveland right on his tail.
Lucido is doing a great job sticking to the back end of the 4. But I don't know how long that's going to last. I mean, we know Lucido wants to win as well as he side drafts us to 67. Very close. Man. This could go wrong at any moment.
Oh, somebody found the fence coming out of turn 2 further back. No harm, no foul. Everybody's all right. Side drafting coming down to 3. Can Lucido get clear to make a move, or is Mitchell going to be the thorn in his side this entire time? Mitchell to the left rear of Andrew Hale again. Can he get the run out of 4?
Can we get the white flag? I think is the bigger question, and I think we're going to get here across the start-finish line. White flag is waving here at Michigan International. And it looks like Andrew Hale is going to be leading that white flag lap. Will he lead to the checkered as Lucido does battle with a 6 little bang in there? Here comes James Loveland. Oh,
Caleb Mitchell goes spinning. He's able to save it way down to the bottom of the racetrack, plummeting down the running order. We're racing hard for second behind. Lucido's trying to find a way through, but he's got a battle. James Loveland dives it down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2 out of absolutely nowhere. From third place, what can the 2 do on the last lap? Or can somebody do anything from third? Lucido's pushing Andrew Hale through, and it's going to be Andrew Hale on the last lap to win at Michigan.
What a thrilling conclusion to this race. Andrew Hale, who had mastered the top line, ran up there almost all night long, is able to make it work. What a thrilling race. And John Lucido, with that last lap push, helps the 4 secure it.
Oof.
I think we got a little bit of maybe some frustrations being played out on the backstretch here between, I believe, Harley Barletta and John Ledger. Ledger gets turned down into the grass.
Yeah, there tends to be some hurt feelings in the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series week in, week out. So not too surprising. Speaking of Ledger, he got up to 4th on those new tires. So that was pretty impressive what he was able to do in only 5 laps. Man, if he had a little bit more time, Ledger would have been right there for the race win.
Yeah, he would have. He definitely would have. Man.
Well, Andrew Hill is burning it down on the front straightaway. And as he's doing his little celebrations or parking it on the front straightaway, whatever he chooses to do, we're going to take our final commercial break of the evening. Whenever we come back, we've got interviews from the top 3. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. We've just finished up the racing action from the Michigan International Speedway, and Andrew Hale is the victor of the night. John Lucido comes home in 2nd. James Loveland rounds out your podium with John Ledger in 4th. Keegan Sabilo in 5th. Toby Ritter's in 6th. Carter Casey 7th. Kenneth Gurrell in 8th. Tyler Meeks in 9th. And Harley Barletta rounds out your top 10. 11th place is William Mann Jr. with Ryan Jalek in 12th. Nick Jazabowski in 13th. Caleb Mitchell in 14th. Stefan Witt in 15th. Dan Hulwig in 16th. Jason Taylor 17th. James Harris 18th. And John Horn 19th. And Brian High finishes in 20th tonight. We're going to jump right into our post-race interviews, interview our top 3 finishers. Up first, we're going to pull up our 3rd place finisher of James Loveland. James, heck of a race from you tonight, picking your way through the field and find your way to the front right at the end whenever it matters most. Kind of walk us through your night, and how did you manage to find your way in 3rd there at the end?
Yeah, just took it pretty easy there. I didn't really try to do any big moves or nothing. Just learning the draft and trying to figure out what to do with tires. Maybe try to save tires or whatnot. But yeah, no, I just tried to manage for a while, and then towards the end there, I just kind of gave it my best and see what I could do. But getting stuck in that draft, you just can only do so much. And came home with the third, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good points night for you, and the pre-race actually picks you as my race win for the night. So whenever you made that move down to the bottom of 3 and 4 on the last lap, I was getting out of my seat a little bit, getting a little excited. Unfortunately, it was all for naught, but you still brought home a good third place finish. So, what does that do for you, going forward in the series this season? Looking at the point standings, what are kind of your goals for the rest of the season?
Yeah, just continue to have a strong runs and try to get a win towards the end of the season. I don't know how my points are, but I really haven't been paying attention to points too well. I know I missed last week, so yeah, just try to get strong finishes and try to pull off a win here. That'd be nice.
Well, James, we definitely think you got the race or the speed to win one of these things coming forward in the back half of this season, and we're looking forward to seeing if you can get it pulled off. So congratulations tonight, and do you have anybody else to thank here?
Yeah, thank you guys at the broadcast for doing this race. I have to look back at it. It was pretty wild. Thanks to the league, the sponsors, the Champion Power Equipment, and all the others, and just thanks to the other guys. That was some fun, clean racing there. I had a good time. Fortunately, just came up a little short, but congratulations to Andrew Hale. So good win for him.
Well, congratulations, James, on the third place finish. And we just got word from the producer you're 32 points behind. So not too far, but probably insurmountable for the rest of the season. Pretty short seasons here. But regardless, still up there towards the top. So congratulations on the third place tonight. Looking forward to seeing if you can make that 2 spots better maybe next week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was your race winner. That was your third place finisher, James Loveland. Maybe I'm saying it 1 week too early. Next up, we're going to go to our second place finisher, John Lacido. He's standing next, side by side with Brian Britt.
John, definitely a great run for you here tonight. You started in 15th, so I do believe you're probably the biggest mover of the evening. You ran your way all the way up to second place, where you were pushing Andrew Hale there on the last lap. What could you have done to maybe get the position that win for yourself?
Maybe stick my nose somewhere that there was a space that maybe really wasn't there, what I'm notorious for. But after battling hard with the 67, and I noticed that Hale had been battling hard with the 67 as well, I got tired of the door checks the last couple laps there. So I told Hale over voice chat that, hey, this next run, I'm not coming off your tailgate, so keep that high side and we'll get you there.
We definitely did a good job there. Of course, strength in numbers here at Michigan for sure. So what kind of preparation did you do to kind of get ready for this race here tonight?
I honestly only turned 50, 75 practice laps, and I just took note of how the truck handled on the high side versus the low side on long runs.
All right, well, definitely seems like it worked out well for you. I mean, you seemed like you had a pretty fast truck there in the 73, and I think the last few weeks you've been looking really, really fast as well. What do you think about Richmond coming up next week?
To tell you the truth, Richmond's honestly one of my favorite tracks, so we're gonna hit the books hard and try to get a good run at it.
All right, well, that's awesome to hear. Richmond, your favorite track, so looking to see you high on the list next week, maybe even in victory lane. Hopefully you'll be able to do one position better next week. Who can we shout out, John, after this second place finish?
Green Mountain Grills and Champion, and then you guys for the broadcast.
All right, thanks, John, and have a great night.
All right, you too.
That was the 73 of John Lacido, finishing second place. Great finish for him. Of course, I think we're going to have our winner joining us up here with Austin Edstrom.
For sure, we're pulling up Andrew Hale up into the broadcast booth. Your race winner from the Michigan International Speedway. Andrew, heck of a race from you, man. You were racing up towards the front most of the night. Towards the end of this thing, you kind of proved to be one of the dominant cars. Just kind of walk us through your night and how you kind of picked your way through the field and find yourself up towards the front here.
I started off with only getting about maybe 10 laps of practice. I got in a little late. So there at the beginning, I was just riding, trying to feel out the track, how it was going to go, and I figured the way as hot as the track was, and as slick as it got, tire wear, everybody was going to save pace at the beginning. That's what I was on, but everybody else was not. So I had to take off and try to keep track position. There on that long run, though, I stuck her up on the high side, and she was going.
Yeah, you had a lot of side-by-side moments with Kaylin Mitchell, a couple others as well. I mean, just talking about the racing tonight, it felt like it was aggressive, but pretty clean. There was a couple issues, to say the least. But for the most part, it seemed like everybody was taking care of each other, and even y'all up front. Even whenever you're banging doors for the race lead, it never really came to blows, I'd say. So can you just kind of talk on the racecraft, I guess, of what was going on out there? And do you agree with me, or do you kind of disagree on that?
I agree. Mid to 67 for sure. It's so hard to judge where somebody's going to go, thinking coming off of floor there, is he going to go to the bottom? Is he going to hang on your left rear? Stuff like that. And we touched a few times, but I knew it was nothing egregious. And me and him's raced clean for this whole season. So I had no troubles with that one. Hate it for the 77 to 55, though. They got together. I know it wasn't intentional, but you got to think it is when it happens like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
No, it definitely don't. But, I mean, you're thinking one guy's going to go to the bottom, and he's thinking, no, I'm going to hold this line type stuff. So it's going to happen. I mean, you're racing door to door like that.
Yeah, it just sucked that one in particular was between the two championship contenders. But I give you that. Most of the race, man, I'm telling you, it was extremely fun to watch from the broadcast booth. We had a ton of fun getting to call what you and Kaylin were doing up for the race lead. I mean, that was fantastic all throughout that green flag run. So we appreciate you putting on a good show. Who do you have to thank at the end of this one?
You guys up in the broadcast booth, I'm sure you had to drink a lot of water tonight. You were definitely talking. We were swapping back and forth. Champion Power Equipment, James Harris for going through, taking his time, doing all the schedule and setting up races. I still hate it for them too. I don't know where the points stand, but I was right there behind them. I don't know where we stand right now, though.
All right, we just got word from the producer for everybody watching at home. 11 points behind.
Behind
so
Keegan?
Yeah, behind Keegan. So no telling how far back James is now with back-to-back wrecks.
Yeah, I think he said he's back to 4th or something like that.
Well, it's going to be a fun run to the championship. I don't think it's settled yet. We still got 4 races left, so
yeah,
got a good chunk of the season left to get this thing sorted.
Course. Oh, he's still in it. All it takes is one bad night. And
so Andrew, one last question. You being 11 points back, what are your hopes for the last 4 races? What do you think is achievable, being 11 points off of Keegan?
Let me go look at the schedule here. We have Richmond. I'll be good there. Watkins Glen, 77 is going to be hard to beat. He's a road course guy. Milwaukee Mile, that's a flat track. I got a chance at Richmond and Milwaukee there, but of course Keegan, he's going to put up a battle. He ain't just going to let it go.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. He might have made an enemy that he didn't want to make tonight, so
yeah,
that might play into your hands a little bit.
I'd hate to win it like that, but get him how you get him, right?
Hey, that's racing. Well, congratulations on winning tonight, Andrew, and looking forward to seeing if you can battle for that championship going forward.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was your race winner, Andrew Hale. That time, actually, your race winner, not the 3rd place finisher. But either way, that's going to do it from here, or from us here at Grid Vision. Brian, what did you think of the race tonight? I thought it was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a fun race to watch. That's for sure. I mean, it was exciting from start to finish. A lot of highs and lows. I'll tell you what. I mean, there was some tears shed, and but still, I think at the end of it, it was entertaining, and I think that's what the fans look for. That's what I look for, and can't wait to see how this plays out. I mean, the storylines. I think that's what's been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, a lot of storylines so far in the season and a lot going forward, especially after an eventful couple of weeks from Daytona and Michigan. But that's going to do it here from us and from the entire Grid Vision team. We'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat. For more information on getting your league broadcasted or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Congratulations to Andrew Hale on winning tonight's race from the Michigan International Speedway. This has been Austin Edstrom standing alongside Brian Britt and Austin Darbyshire behind the production booth. We will see you next time on The Grid.